Oh yeah, Alloway would do just fine for this one. Hi. Hi everybody. How you doing today? Everybody doing good? Get a cup of Joe and maybe a cookie over the puppy smasher. All right, just checking in. And yeah, all the sharks San Committee. Damn, that close. Any rate, look at this thing. Just operating system here. This is actually bullet pushing against the wall particle slit experiment. No, something passed through clearly. Schwab's also fantastic for this because they're probably better with the equipment than the scientists to either do the human interaction or explain at the scale of an atom in a Bose-Einstein, well, vacuum decay, but that's a little different. We'll be getting into that in a minute about what that really is. It works. It's fine. Nobody's going to argue with the term dark matter, dark energy, particle, sub. What's up as a quark or what's an electron. And, the NP core of it still is like, oh, well, there's neutron and protons in there. Yeah, exactly. So why wouldn't there be in the electron? Why wouldn't there be as far as getting something with a double body problem like that in a pipe? In some kind of way that says, oh, all right, up and down, and because of the gravity of the situation, I need this specific set of equipment to zero out by maintaining up and right one. More energy in to get the collision, because for whatever reason right now, whatever is inside of that experiment, because even though this is a slit experiment, it's still operating under the same standards of the gold sheet experiment. Right? Atoms are going to pass through, and every once in a while, one's going to hit. And that proves that there is stuff inside of that material. And it gives us a better observation of what that scale of the snowflake should look like. From there, they're saying when I do things in the correct way, that not just, very weakly, I could say, well, let's pick up on that part right there in the bottom line for the DMA, right? I'm going to be on this index down here, and in that way, I have a state and somebody high and low line here, the trident at least moving right, IPI, says what I've done is I've put it to this type of wavelet in an entirety of the Riemann sphere here, the tube and the uniform temperature that's kind of correlating to, but from the inside of it. Here we don't have the outside of what that does, short of what's in those pipes. In a field, what is it? Wyoming over there. It's a box. And inside of that box, there's a weird-ass topology, square lines or otherwise, that give me the rough outline of what that object will do in the pipes. And because there are other objects next to it, say another state or a state of water, what is way bigger, around that as soon as it gets there like that with this momentum, it's just going to drop off. Our ability to track it any longer just nosedives until I can see it. And that's the day-night market as it stands. And that's fine because as an operating system, A delta B, it's got to move through the slit experiment here. Into each building, and then I've ripped away the alpha, I've ripped away the beta, all that's left is gamma radiation, and like that I'm going to rip away the alpha and beta particle, because something that'll break down in there to the weak charge, because in the pipes I might want to key in on this instead of the entirety of the nucleus. It's going to range like it's an electron, free covalent, in a superposition of options of what could have happened that day to mathematically under what we understand the gap to be. There, again, the gold sheet against the slit is basically throwing a baseball at a wall. In the physics of it, if after a certain number of experiments, that wall will eventually give, if drywall, for the example, and it will pass through. And maybe that's an effect of shooting, instead of changing the gold or the position on the gold where it's shooting through, which brings up another type of variable of, well, how do you know? I mean, but at any rate, like that, I've separated that variable. It could have been a dark matter, I'd still need to see the results on these huge, massive data studies at speed, before I could quantify that that is the one in why you need megahertz and or what is it, milliseconds instead of what a regular second would be, or what the human quantification of that. Even if there would be a way to do that, you have to put them in groups and then be able to sort through the information on something that is equivalent to the autosecond there, or the nanosecond or microsecond that is necessary at the trillionth, where here it doesn't necessarily happen like that, but there's still like classical mechanics to being able to ray lights out that Lagrangian algebra for Maxwell's demon under entropy. Because again, we want to zero. Now that we are zeroed out in that form, what did it hit? Like the gold sheet experiment, that sent it right back, when actually at the scale of it, I'm shooting it through the slit, and it might have clipped, and it might have clipped, but I'll get the same result, like it just a 9mm splattering against an AR plate. Is that always what happens? No. Zombie target. To a certain degree, yeah, I just wanted to bring that notation in.